feeling overwhelmed by the noise, pressure, and constant uncertainty of modern life. You're not alone, but you're not helpless, either. The ancient Stoics faced war, exile, betrayal, and death. Yet they discovered something unshakable, the power to choose how you respond. In this video, we explore 10 life-changing Stoic insights that will help you build calm in chaos, clarity in confusion, and courage in the face of fear. Whether you're struggling with anxiety, indecision, or emotional overload, this is your invitation to come back to center, to live with strength, purpose, and inner peace. These are not outdated ideas from dusty scrolls, they are tools forged in fire, ready to serve you today. Stay with us, and discover how Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus can help you rise, not above life, but through it. When the world throws you off balance, the solution isn't out there. In a world that never stops moving, where noise becomes the norm and silence feels like absence, we find ourselves constantly pulled in different directions. Social expectations, digital overstimulation, the relentless demand to achieve more, all of it chips away at our sense of inner stability. Anxiety no longer whispers, it shouts. Doubt doesn't visit occasionally. It becomes a companion. And yet, most of us keep looking outward, convinced that peace lies in changing our circumstances, in fixing the world, in controlling the chaos. But what if the storm isn't outside? What if the turbulence you feel isn't in the traffic, or your inbox, or the market, but in your mind? What if the search for peace, clarity, and strength begins not in escape, but in turning inward? The Stoics knew this. They lived through plagues, exile, war, betrayal, and death. But their wisdom endured because it wasn't built on wishful thinking. It was forged in fire. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire on the brink of collapse. Epictetus lived as a slave. Seneca wallowed the razor's edge of political conspiracy. Yet all three taught the same truth: you cannot always choose your circumstances, but you can always choose how you respond. And in that choice, that space between stimulus and response, lies the beginning of freedom. Freedom from the need to be understood. Freedom from fear of failure. Freedom from the belief that we must control everything to feel safe. This is not passive resignation. This is disciplined defiance. To step out of the storm, you must first step into yourself. Into a deeper awareness of your own thoughts. Into the courage to hold still when every impulse tells you to run. Into the decision to act with clarity when the world is unclear. Because when the world throws you off balance, your task is not to hold the world still. Your task is to steady yourself. Stoic philosophy, an ancient way of life that never goes out of style. Centuries before modern psychology, before the language of anxiety or emotional regulation existed, the Stoics had already mapped the inner terrain of the human soul. They did not write in pursuit of fame or comfort. They wrote to survive. To endure. To remain whole in a world that so often breaks you apart. And what they left behind was not a set of abstract theories, but a guide to living, clear, fierce, and timeless. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a radical yet simple idea. You cannot control the external world, but you can always control how you respond to it. What happens to you is not yours to choose. But how you meet it, that is where your power lives. The Stoics divided the world into two categories: what is within your control and what is not. Your thoughts, your actions, your values, these are yours. Everything else, the opinions of others, the outcomes of events, the passing of time, is not. The more you pour energy into what you cannot change, the more you suffer. The more you root yourself in what you can, the freer you become. This philosophy is not cold or unfeeling. It is not a denial of emotion but a mastery of it. Stoicism teaches us that emotions are natural responses, but we must not become their slaves. Courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. These are the four cardinal virtues of Stoicism, and together they form a compass that keeps us steady through chaos. In a world that values constant reaction, the Stoic holds back. In a culture of outrage, the Stoic remains calm. Not because they are indifferent, but because they are anchored. Their strength is quiet. Their clarity is deliberate. They are not without feeling, they are free from its tyranny. To live as a Stoic is not to retreat from life, but to meet it fully, on your terms, with inner discipline, and with your eyes open. It is a way of life that may be ancient, but it has never been more necessary than now. 10 cornerstones to help you walk through anxiety, fear, and uncertainty. Stoic wisdom was never meant to sit quietly on the page. It was forged in fire, in exile, in grief, in the battlefield of the mind, and passed down to help others survive their own storms. The 10 quotes that follow are more than philosophical reflections. They are psychological tools. Sharp and clear, crafted for use in moments of doubt, panic, and loss. Each one offers a point of entry into strength, clarity, inner stability, and ultimately, freedom. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca starts where anxiety begins, in the mind. Our fears often don't come from what is, but from what might be. The Stoics teach us that by identifying the gap between thought and fact, we gain power. You cannot stop imagination, but you can question it. When you stop assuming every possibility will become a disaster, you begin to breathe more freely. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Epictetus points out that the event is neutral. It is your interpretation that creates the emotion. This opens a door. If you can learn to see differently, you can learn to feel differently. A delay is not a disaster. A mistake is not a curse. They are only what you decide they mean. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of control's true domain. You don't need to conquer the world. You only need to govern your thoughts. Real strength begins there. Everything external is uncertain, but your reasoning, your choices, your values, those are yours to master. He who is brave is free. Seneca tells us that freedom from fear is not a gift. It is the reward for courage. Every time you act despite fear, you loosen its grip. Freedom isn't comfort. It is the power to face discomfort willingly. Bravery is not about being fearless. It's about walking forward while still afraid, and doing it anyway. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. Epictetus returns with a deeper truth: your lens shapes your life. If your lens is panic, the world is a threat. If your lens is principle, the world becomes manageable. You can train the mind to look through a clearer window, and see reality, not reaction. The universe is change. Life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius connects external change to internal creation. Change is not an enemy. Resistance is. When you allow life to shift, and train your mind to respond, you gain fluid strength. The mind that adapts without losing itself becomes unshakable. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future. Seneca leads us back to now. Anxiety is the price of leaning too far forward in time. Presence is not passivity. It is the most active form of attention. It is choosing to live where life actually is, not where it might be. It is not death or pain that is to be feared, but the fear of them. Epictetus strikes at the heart of suffering. What breaks us is not always the pain, but the anticipation. Pain is real. Fear is often imagined. The more we face it, the less it controls us. Once fear is named, it loses its shape. Once faced, it loses its strength. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive. Marcus Aurelius shows us a spiritual practice disguised as a simple habit. Begin your day not with burden, but with gratitude. Even in difficulty. This shift can carry you. Life is not owed to us, it is gifted, daily. If a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Seneca closes with clarity. Anxiety grows in directionless lives. But when you name your purpose, the chaos becomes current. And suddenly, even the storm has a use. Without purpose, life tosses you. With purpose, life moves you. These 10 truths are not relics. They are tools. Take one. Hold it when your hands shake. Speak it when your voice trembles. Let it remind you. Anxiety is not who you are. It is a state. And states can shift, when wisdom leads the way. You don't need to become unbreakable overnight. You only need to remember that within you is something steadier than the storm. Inner freedom, learning to let go of what doesn't belong to you. We spend much of our lives reaching for things that were never ours to hold. The approval of others. The certainty of the future. The outcome of every plan. We chase these things believing they will bring peace, but all they bring is exhaustion. Inner freedom begins the moment we stop grasping for control over the uncontrollable. The Stoics taught that true freedom is not the absence of constraints but the absence of internal conflict. It is the state in which your peace is not held hostage by external events. You do not depend on praise to feel worthy. You do not need perfect outcomes to feel calm. You are no longer tied to every wave of emotion, every twist of fate, every opinion that passes over your life. To achieve this, you must learn to separate what belongs to you from what does not. Your character, your actions, your choices, these are yours. What people say about you, how they treat you. Whether they understand you, that is not. The moment you stop trying to control how others see you is the moment you start seeing yourself more clearly. Letting go is not giving up. It is not indifference. It is the deliberate act of choosing where to place your attention, your time, and your energy. It is refusing to pour yourself into things that give nothing back. It is protecting the sanctuary of your mind from the noise of the world. Epictetus said that only the educated are truly free, and by education, he did not mean books. He meant training the mind to understand what is truly yours to govern. Once you stop outsourcing your peace to people or events. Once you stop needing the world to cooperate with your expectations, you reclaim your strength. Inner freedom is not given. It is earned. It is chosen. It is defended. And it begins, always, with the courage to let go. Resilience is forged in fire, not a gift from the heavens. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is not granted by fate, nor delivered in moments of ease. Resilience is earned. It is forged in moments that stretch you, challenge you, and sometimes break you. The Stoics understood this. They did not view hardship as a punishment, but as a tool. A teacher. A furnace in which character is tested and strengthened. To be resilient is not to be unbreakable. It is to be rebuildable. It means you may fall, but you do not stay down. It means you do not deny your pain, but you learn how to carry it. Life will bring weight. Stoicism teaches us how to grow stronger beneath it. Seneca wrote that difficulty strengthens the mind as labor does the body. Just as muscles are built under tension, so is the inner self. Avoiding discomfort at all costs only makes you fragile. Facing discomfort with discipline, however, makes you powerful. You stop asking why it happened to you, and start asking how it can shape you. Epictetus, once a slave, never asked the world to be fair. He asked himself to be prepared. His resilience was not theoretical. It was daily, practical, and earned through experience. He taught that we should not hope for an easy life, but rather prepare to meet a hard one with steady hands and a focused heart. Marcus Aurelius, in the midst of plague and war, wrote not of blame, but of duty. He reminded himself that the fire within him must burn brighter than the chaos around him. This is the Stoic way. Do not wait for peace to act with clarity. Train in hardship so that when the storm comes, you do not panic, you respond. True resilience is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about accepting that not everything will be, and acting with courage anyway. It is quiet, deliberate strength. And like fire, it spreads when nurtured. The more you face difficulty with purpose, the less it controls you. You become not untouched by life, but undeterred by it. Decisiveness, pick a direction and move forward, even while afraid. There are few things that drain more energy, cause more anxiety, and paralyze more lives than indecision. The inability to choose is itself a choice, one that invites uncertainty to linger and fear to grow. The Stoics did not believe in reckless action, but they saw hesitation, delay, and endless analysis as forms of self-sabotage. The mind becomes heavy when every path is considered but none are taken. Decisiveness, then, is not just a leadership quality. It is a spiritual one. To be decisive is not to always be right. It is to take responsibility, to act with clarity despite uncertainty, and to correct your course when needed. It means you understand that waiting for perfect certainty is a trap. Life is not lived in certainty, it is lived in courage. And courage does not demand that you feel fearless. It demands that you act even when fear is present. Seneca warned that those who are always preparing, always planning, are in fact never living. He argued that action, not overthinking, brings wisdom. The Stoic does not wait for the perfect moment. He creates momentum through action and gains clarity through movement. If you take the first step, the path often reveals itself. Epictetus taught that your will is the one thing truly in your power. Everything else may shift, collapse, or disappoint. But your choice, to move or to stay still, to speak or stay silent, to accept or resist, is yours. Every act of decisiveness strengthens the soul. Every time you choose deliberately, you chip away at the chaos that indecision builds. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that time is short and hesitation is costly. His philosophy was rooted in simplicity: do what needs to be done, and do it now. The longer we wait, the heavier the burden becomes. The more we overthink, the more our courage erodes. Decisiveness is not recklessness. It is disciplined movement. It is clarity earned through action. It is the ability to say, I do not know what comes next, but I know who I must be in this moment. And sometimes, that is enough. Direction matters. But what matters more is that you move. If you feel lost, stuck, or overwhelmed, choose something. Choose one clear action. One brave sentence. One honest answer. That single act is a declaration of who you are becoming. And no matter how small it seems, it carries the power to turn fear into strength. Living mindfully every day, practicing Stoicism in the real world. Philosophy means little if it stays on the page. The Stoics knew this. They believed wisdom should live in your hands, your habits, your breath. A Stoic does not wait for the perfect moment to begin living wisely. They begin now, with what they have, where they are. In a chaotic world, this practice is not only useful, it is urgent. To practice Stoicism daily is not to isolate yourself from life, but to engage with it fully and intentionally. It means waking up and choosing your mindset before the world chooses it for you. It means checking your reactions, not just your calendar. It means asking, every morning, what is within my control today? And, every evening, what did I learn about myself? Marcus Aurelius did not write his meditations for others. He wrote them for himself, to stay grounded, honest, focused. This is where modern practice begins. With self-reflection. 5 minutes in the morning to set your intention. 5 at night to examine your actions. No need for grand rituals, only quiet honesty. Epictetus advised his students to rehearse the day before it began. Imagine insults, delays, disappointments. Prepare your mind to meet them calmly. This is not pessimism. It is preparation. When you expect friction, it does not shake you. You meet it with steadiness, not surprise. Seneca suggested reviewing your conscience at the end of each day. Not to punish yourself, but to learn. What did I do well? Where did I fall short? Where did fear rule me? This daily habit turns experience into wisdom. Without reflection, we repeat. With reflection, we grow. Living as a Stoic means turning your life into a quiet discipline. You do not need to control the world. You need only to control your responses to it. The more you train this response, the less life can unseat you. Your habits become armor. Your thoughts become tools. Your character becomes your compass. The Stoic path is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not about displaying virtue, but building it in silence. One small act of self-restraint. One calm breath when anger rises. One choice to pause before reacting. That is the Stoic life. Not perfect, but practiced, every day. You are not powerless in the face of chaos. The world may be loud, unpredictable, even cruel, but within you, there remains a place untouched by all of it. That place is your reason, your values. Your ability to choose how to respond. This is the core of Stoicism, not to escape life, but to meet it with calm, courage, and clarity. These teachings are not distant ideas for ancient philosophers. They are tools for you, here. Now, in the middle of your modern struggles. You will stumble. You will feel fear. You will face days where your strength seems to vanish. That is human. But the Stoics remind us. What matters most is not what you feel, but what you do next. Whether you journal for 5 quiet minutes or take one brave action despite doubt. Each step you take with intention strengthens your character. Each moment of restraint, each act of reflection, brings you closer to the person you are capable of becoming. You are not meant to be perfect. You are meant to grow. And with practice, with honesty, with daily effort, you will.